I want my saying that I believe in is be a warrior in a garden than being a gardener in a war. I
Yep.
want my kids to be able to have the skills to defend themselves when they need to, but also I don't want them to use it unless it's absolutely necessary.
It's Monday, March 18th, 2024. Just rained out here. Really weird weather today. It's really cooled down. We're supposed to get up to the 80s this week, but very, very strange weather, but we'll take it. We need some rain. Just got back from boxing, and I just wanted to shoot a video today and touch on a couple articles. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Make sure to check out my Patreon channel, link down below. I just dropped a video yesterday. Thank you so much for the people who've come over. Stay to the entirety of this video. I interviewed my coach Lionel today at my boxing gym. My friend Boy was there, had a few things to say too. I think it's really, really important of why we're training, why we're getting in better shape, why we're working on our combative skills, why your kids should be doing this. So stay tuned. We're going to talk to Coach Lionel, talk to my friend Boy. Really good workout today, but we have to be so balanced now in 2024. We got to be sharp mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. What will happen when they give the green light to millions of radicals to cause widespread chaos all over America? This was an article that came out a day or two ago on The Hedge. And it's another reason why I'm in the gym today training, why I'm doing jiu-jitsu, why I'm doing boxing, why I'm lifting weights, doing whatever I can to stay as strong as I can, to have the skill sets to take care of myself, my family, of course, being at the range, working on tactics, being proficient with those tools. Very, very important. It all goes together, ladies and gentlemen. Walking close to God, very, very important right now, because we've never seen so much evil walking on planet Earth as we are now. Violence and crime are already out of control. It's going to get much, much more out of control. So you can sit around, do nothing, and hope that nothing happens to you. I was watching Matt's show yesterday, and he was talking about how his mom's friend was followed home, she's got to be in her 70s. She's followed home to her house, did not know, was not paying attention, and typically older people, aren't scanning and assessing, but she did not pay attention. She got out of her car and she was accosted by a couple individuals. They stole her watch. I believe they stole her purse. She's lucky she's okay. They could have gotten to her house and, you would have had a total home invasion. This is happening out here in the desert, out here in the Palm Desert area. This is how bad it's getting. And this is why you got to be awake, why you need to be preparing, why you need to be training. The stage is being set, ladies and gentlemen, for a social breakdown. We're going to see more of society breaking down. It will get more chaotic. It will get more violent. Why right now? Ask yourself this. Why are we seeing soldiers on the streets of America policing and not police officers? We're seeing this in New York. They're talking about doing this in Chicago. We're seeing more and more of it. More soldiers, less police. Many areas. Right now, if you call for help, if you call the police, they're not coming. You may get a voice recording. They may tell you it's going to be an hour. They may tell you that there's nothing they can do. You're on your own. This is what's happening. This is why we must be as self-sufficient as possible. I've been saying this for years. Be your own central bank. Don't have all your money in the bank. Don't be just sitting in dollars. Have some gold. Have some silver. Have some barterable items. It's so important. If you need gold, if you need silver, go to my link down below. SD Bullion, one of the best bullion dealers, precious metal dealers in the world. That's who I've been buying from for 6.5 years now. If you need help, if you need to know, if you're not sure how to do it, call them. Go to the link, pick up the phone, call them. They're a fantastic company. I think everybody needs to hold some gold and silver. And I will say that because, as you know, I don't give financial advice, but gold and silver will never be worth zero, has never been worth zero in 5,000 years. And it's important that you hold these real assets. Do what the central banks are doing. The crime wave that we're seeing in America is getting people hurt every day, and it's hurting businesses. I've seen so many businesses close down. We've seen the Walgreens, the Rite Aids, we've seen Walmart's close down, In-N-Out Burgers, Taco Bells are closing down, you name it. Why? Because of the crime and the violence that is taking place. It's putting businesses out. They're shuttering for good. And somebody wrote me yesterday, and I have to respond to this. Well, a little lightning. What black swans? What black swans are you preparing for, JB? What are you talking about? Give us an example. Woo. When I see balloons flying around and nothing gets done, when you see tens of thousands of military-aged Chinese men walking into this country. China buying hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland near military bases. Cyber attacks every day, and the list goes on. Do I have to be any more specific? There's many. We could sit here an hour and talk about the possibilities of what this black swan could be or what that black swan could be. Think about what's happening right now. Think about all these people coming over here that are putting hospitals out of business, who are going to put Medicaid out of business, who are costing this country trillions of dollars because they need food, they need housing, they want your job. Look at what Tyson Foods is doing. They're talking about replacing American workers with all foreign workers. I mean, these are huge events unfolding right now, and people are still delirious of what is happening. How about this? The hedge today, half of downtown Pittsburgh office space could be empty in 4 years. Commercial real estate implosion is alive and well. It is picking up steam. It is exploding. 17 buildings in the area of Philadelphia, significant distress. They're in significant distress. Another 9 are in pending distress, meaning that they are either in foreclosure or at risk of foreclosure. Those properties represent 63% of downtown office stock and account for $30.5 million in real estate taxes. What's going to happen to these cities? Please answer me this. What's going to happen to, the LAs, the Philadelphias, the New Yorks, the Chicagos, when these office buildings are just sitting empty and there's no tax base, there's no tax revenue? And what's going to happen to the bondholders of these buildings? What's going to happen to the regional banks that lent the money for these buildings? There is a lot of things coming. Vacancy rate, 27%, could soar to 46% in 2028. That is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one from Fox Business. Wages in the U.S. are falling at a striking pace. Wages have decelerated by almost 3% over the past year, yet they keep telling us that job growth is surprisingly resilient. Okay, I guess when you're working 2, 3, or 4 jobs, it is, because people now have to work 2, 3, even 4 jobs to make up for the job that they just lost. We keep hearing the word resilient. The job market's resilient, the economy's resilient, the consumer's resilient. It's all a bunch of BS. Here's one today. This should really concern everybody. Oil hits new cycle high after China data, Russian refinery attacks, and Iraq supply cuts. Oil up $1.89 today. We're at $82.93, almost $83 a barrel. 10-year bond yield at 4.33%. Going to be bad for the housing market. So now with the whole commission regulation, 10-year bond yield at 4.33, terrible for real estate. If you're trying to sell a house, I hope that you wake up and price it correctly. I'm looking at homes. I cannot even believe this. I'm looking at homes in the Deep South, and some of these homes were bought 3 years ago, and they're now asking 150% more than they paid for these homes back in 2021. Somebody please tell me what in the world is going on. You're in the Deep South and you think you're going to get 150% more than what you paid for a house 3 years ago. You are smoking something that you should not be smoking. Wall Street Journal, one of America's hottest housing markets, Austin, Texas, is running in reverse. I'm going to finish this one up quick. Make sure to stay tuned to this video. I'm going to talk to Boy. I'm going to talk to Coach Lionel. Some really good knowledge there. But the Wall Street Journal, this article, what's happening in Austin, I can vouch. We were in Austin last summer. I could not believe, Matt and I could not believe what we were witnessing in Austin. The luxury apartments, the housing developments. Well, now all those luxury apartments, they're offering free rent and other incentives to fill the empty units. More single family homes are selling at a loss. Empty office spaces are picking up. In fact, they're piling up, it says here in the Wall Street Journal. Things usually start somewhere in the real estate sector, and maybe this time it's going to start in Austin, Texas. I'm going to leave it there. Stay tuned to the rest of this video. Now it is beginning to rain. I'm out of here. Nugget, we're out of here. God bless every one of you. Have a great day. Stay safe. So at Lion God Gym here today, as you can see, doing a little boxing here with my friend Boy. My coach Lionel.
How you doing?
And as you know, I do a lot of jiu-jitsu, but to kind of complement the jiu-jitsu, it's very important to have some stand-up. Everything starts on the feet. A lot goes to the ground, but sometimes it doesn't go to the ground. Sometimes it ends on the feet, starts on the feet, ends on the feet. So good to have a combination, in my opinion. But Boy wanted to say a couple of things today, doing a little Muay Thai today, and the importance. You got kids.
Yeah, so I believe in self-defense for kids. I have two little girls. I was bullied as a child, and I don't want my kids being bullied. But at the same time, I don't believe in violence. I believe in peace with words, and if you can come to peace with words, leave it at that. But if it comes down to violence, if it comes down to throwing hands, I want you to have the capabilities and the know-how to do it, the skills to do it.
So you have the ability to be more violent than the person trying to be violent against the bully. So sometimes you got to be more violent than the violent. And I think the more skills that you have, the least likely you are to have to use it. And I think you would all agree that the best way to win a fight is just to avoid a fight. But we all know sometimes you don't have that option, especially kids today, and even adults, because we know crime is there's no excuse why older people and parents aren't doing the same thing.
Right. I completely agree. I want my saying that I believe in is be a warrior in a garden than being a gardener in a war. You know,
Yep.
I want my kids to be able to have the skills to defend themselves when they need to, but also I don't want them to use it unless it's absolutely necessary.
Last line of defense, right?
Right.
So I think that's so important. And I'm going to ask this question to Coach Lionel also, but a lot of people I've noticed in the comments will be like, oh, am I a bad parent if I'm not giving my kids the skills? I think that you're not a bad parent, but I think a lot of parents make excuses why they're not giving their kids the skills. They don't have the money, they don't have the time, whatever. But I think it's so important, especially today, way more than when I was a kid, to have the skills to protect yourself, the skills to survive. I think everybody, whether you're a young kid, male, female, anything in between, whatever your belief is, whatever color you are, however old you are, I think everybody now, today, things have gotten so violent that everybody has the skill set to survive. And if you're sending your kids out into the world or to school with no skills to defend themselves, I think you have to ask yourself what kind of parent you really are. Again, I'm not saying you're a bad parent. I'm not judging anybody, but I would not send my kids anywhere without the skills to succeed and to win. And again, I'm not calling anybody a bad parent, but I think a lot of people make too many excuses. And I think just like people that sit on the couch too much and they're playing video games all day, they're smoking weed all day, they're not doing anything. They make too many excuses of why they're not doing it. I think sometimes you have to make sacrifices for your kids. What would you say?
I completely agree, man. I wouldn't want my kids to go out in the world without any skills, and that's including martial arts and anything. I want them to be able to read well. I want them to do math really well.
Eat
well, everything.
Train hard. So you're setting them up to succeed in life no matter what. It's school, get a good education, make sure they're fit, they're eating good, doing their homework, and they're able to defend themselves, especially your daughters.
Right, because I believe martial arts is one aspect of life.
Yeah.
There's so many more things that I want my kids to have when they grow up.
Right.
And martial arts is just one of them. I want them to be able to defend themselves, but I also want them to know how to get out of situations.
Right.
That's
sometimes all we need to do, right? Just to get away. We don't have to sit there and engage the whole time. Maybe it's just to get to your car, get to a phone, get to your house, and just get away.
Yeah, I want them to be great at martial arts, but I want them to be better at de-escalating.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because before you win the battle before you throw the hands. You win or lose before.
Right in the head, right?
Right.
Right.
So I want them to be able to walk away without having to do that.
Right. Boy, it was good seeing you today.
Thank you, brother.
Good training with you today. And I hope to see you maybe next week. I guess we'll see you again.
I hope so too, brother.
All right. And Coach Lionel,
How you doing?
what's going on?
Not much.
So good session today.
Yes, sir.
Why are we here?
We are here to learn boxing. We're here to learn self-defense. We're here to learn discipline, and also just get yourself in a routine where you kind of get addicted to it. I feel like boxing. Every person that I've trained, they don't really. For example, someone who comes in who's never done boxing, they want to try it out. But every person that I've trained has got the boxing bug, I call it, and they just want to keep coming back in and keep training. But like you guys were saying earlier, with the whole self-defense thing, I don't have any kids, but I train a lot of kids, and I have a lot of parents that come in and bring their kids for the reason of they're being lazy, they're talking back, they're being bullied in school. And as I tell the parents, would you rather have the bully go home? Would you rather have your child go home crying or the bully go home crying?
Right.
As I always say.
Right.
And of course, you want the bully to go home crying and not your own child. So that's one little line I like to use in the parents because it's true. Because whether the kid learns how to fight or not, the bully's still going to be there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Bully's not going away.
So that's my whole thing right there. And I've been doing this for about 7-8 years, and I've turned a lot of kids' lives around. From just some kids come in here and they actually are bullies, and when they come in here, they become the opposite of that because they start having a little team. They have other kids their age to talk to.
And Lionel, a lot of times, and I've noticed this over years too, is when they come in, they find out they're not as tough
Yeah,
as they
exactly.
thought they were,
Yeah,
and they
so
get
they
passed
humbled.
around in class. They get very, very humbled,
Yeah.
and I think that's good for everybody. And I know personal friends of mine who will not train because it's too humbling. And I think the scariest part is just coming in the first time or maybe the first week, right? And training jiu-jitsu, boxing, whatever it may be. The hardest thing is coming through that door right there. And most people will never do it, or they'll try it one time and go, "Oh, this is hard," or
Yeah,
I
that's
got
usually what happens.
roughed up a little bit. Isn't it better to get roughed up here right now than
Yeah.
out on the streets when you're at that ATM?
Well, yeah, because here everything's controlled. Like if I see someone getting hit and they're about to get knocked out the second punch, I stop the fight, or I have the other person slow down and pull their punches. We're not here to knock anybody out. We're here to get people conditioned to train the body to take pain. Because when you learn how to take physical pain, your mind becomes stronger. Okay, so think about it like this: if you're shy to do a speech in front of 100 people, and let's just say you do one boxing match, okay, you came out of your shell, you come in here, you hired me, 6 months go by, you do a fight in front of 50 people at some amateur event. I guarantee you, your shyness of doing a speech in front of everybody will be completely
Your
gone.
confidence,
Yeah,
your
yes.
confidence
Your
level, right?
confidence goes completely
Right.
out. That's just a little example.
You don't want to. I tell people, like, you don't want to get your first lesson out there in the street because you're going to lose. Everybody resorts back to their training, right? If you have a good base, a good foundation right here, you're already dealing with violence every day, whether it's on the mat or you're boxing. You're dealing with getting hit, you're dealing with being choked out. You're dealing with confrontation every day. So like Coach Lionel said, when you have to get up in front of 100 people and give that speech, it's nothing. You've done this rodeo 100 times, 4 or 5 times a week, so it's not a big deal. You're conditioned to deal with it. And I think that you hit the nail on the head. Conditioning, not just physical, but mental conditioning, right, boy?
I really think fighting in front of anybody is probably one of the hardest things to do. That's just my opinion. That's like the most scariest thing to me before I learned how to box. That was the most scary. The most scariest thing for me was, oh, this guy wants to meet you after school. I'm like, oh my God. Because everybody's gonna be there. Everybody's gonna be watching. It goes back to that speech thing.
Yeah.
But what I've learned, because I grew up getting bullied, I grew up being an angry kid, and then now ever since I learned how to fight and defend myself, I'm the exact opposite, because I don't get mad until I know shit hits the
Right,
fan.
until you have to.
Because I know this guy's gonna run his mouth all he wants. As long as you don't put your finger on me, then we're all good.
Right.
But once that happens, then everything.
And
I know what you're capable of.
and I think you would agree, like, it goes back down to like muscle memory, right? Like, after you've done it enough that, everybody might be a little bit nervous, but if you're in a real confrontation on the street, you're just going to go back to what you know. You've thrown 10,000 jabs, 10,000 rights, 10,000 upper hooks, or you've been on your back 10,000 times. You've done, 5,000 guillotines or arm bars or whatever it may be. So it's really, I mean, boy, it would be like another walk in the park, right? Because you've done it so many times where the other person wanted to get in a fight, but may not really want to be in a fight.
Imagine your first time getting hit, how panicked you get.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Right.
But if you've been hit a bunch of times,
Right.
it's just another day.
It's just, yeah.
What's next? What's next?
Yeah, right, exactly. And most people that start fights have never been maybe hit back or had to engage for more than 30 seconds, right? They bullied their way through, or it was, maybe they got one punch in and they thought that it was over. But when you stand up, you have the skills to engage and the conditioning that, hey, I'm going to go 5 straight minutes here with you if I have to, and I have a lot more skills. Just like when we go to the range and we train, shooting at the range, most criminals don't have a lot of experience in tactics and training. Just like a lot of bad people probably don't spend most of their week in the gym. If they did, they probably wouldn't be out, assaulting people.
Right. I completely agree, brother. I feel, like what you were saying earlier about walking in here, I feel like the hardest part is dropping that ego.
Yeah.
Because you're going to come in here and you're going to be humbled and you're going to look stupid. But just like everything else, when you first start, of course you're going to look stupid.
Right.
But just keep grinding at it. And
Right.
it's going to start getting easier and easier and easier.
Right. Lionel, what about the people that go, easy for you to say, but we don't have any damn money. And I'm a bad parent because I don't have any money. And I would personally say, maybe not go to Disneyland this year. Maybe not take that vacation. Maybe, I'm gonna be
simpler than that. Just no more junk food for the week.
No more junk food for the week. I have to pay for my training.
Yeah.
It's not free, right? And so I have to, and the time, right? I spend an hour and a half here, hour or two of jiu-jitsu, whatever. It's time and money, but I make the sacrifice. Could I have more fun? Like maybe going to the bar, maybe going to Vegas this weekend, hanging out at a pool party. Yeah, there's a lot more fun things to do, but this is so important. Having the skills in life right now as an adult, super important. As a kid, super important. So yeah, cut something out, right?
I would definitely agree with that. It's kind of simple. I went through this whole thing like about 10 years ago when I was trying to get my shit together, and I just looked at my subscriptions, and I had like about $100 worth of subscriptions that so I got rid of those. That was easy. I used to be addicted to buying tennis shoes. I'd buy like 3 pairs a month, like $300-400 pairs of shoes. Cut that out. That's where like 2 G's already that I saved. So you could do a lot. You could do a lot just by looking at your simple finances. For example, I work down the street. There's a corner store here. Every break I get, I buy a Gatorade and a snack. $5, $10. It adds up. So little things like that you cut out. I only charge $150 a month for my boxing class. $150 a month. That's what was that? $50 a week or $25? 20 was how much is that?
Like
anyways,
$40, $35 a week.
It's nothing. It's nothing. It really doesn't cost that much.
Yeah,
it doesn't cost that much.
I would even go one step further. How about maybe just working a half day on Saturday? How about working an extra day a week? How about working a couple hours of overtime, whatever it may be? When I was younger doing jiu-jitsu, I go work an extra 4 hours on a Saturday and it would pay for my entire month. So you got to cut something out in life. But look, we can't stay here all day. We got things to do.
Yes,
but
thank you very much for coming in and trusting me to be your trainer. And yeah, just if you guys want to look me up, look at Lion God Boxing on Instagram. You can check me out.
Yeah, brother. I just want to say thank you for letting me crash your session today.
No problem, man. Good to have you. Good to have you.
Yeah,
glad you came in. And again, maybe a little off topic today, but it's another reminder because we don't just talk about what's happening financially in the world, but what is happening financially is things are going to get worse. People are going to get more hungry, more homeless, more people are being victims of crime, more people are being assaulted. And I know this may not be the most popular subject of my show, but it is one of the most important things you can do. There's no magic pill. There's no magic potion. There's nothing but hard work and sweat and sacrifice to prepare you, get you better shape mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, and always walk close to God. God bless every one of you. Thanks for tuning in today. We are out of here.